Talk Nation, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Spence, Crawford, update, BENN versus ENNIS, THURMAN versus himself. Let's get into everything, man.
Become the oldest fighter to win a world welterweight title. Amazing accomplishment that I never thought I would accomplish. But know that God is good all the time. That's why I gave all glory to God.
Playing out. I feel like Spence is the bigger welterweight. He's the bigger, stronger guy. It's going to be interesting to see how Spence fights another southpaw like him. I just feel like this fight's going to come down to whoever wakes up or whoever feels better on that day. And whoever believes in himself more that day, that's who's going to win, because both guys are mentally strong. Both guys are skilled.
Yeah, and I think we'll probably find out which one of those guys have got a hell of a chin, because they both can throw some serious leather, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Spence is strong. He's a strong puncher, but Crawford throws the shorter punches. If Crawford gets ahead, starts controlling the fight with his jab and backing Crawford up, then I can see Spence winning. But if Spence goes in there, if Crawford goes in there and finds a rhythm, then it might be a W for Crawford.
Talk Nation, man. Let's get into it, man. Spence versus Crawford update. I have combed Terence Crawford Twitter page. I went through Errol Twitter page, and I ain't see shit. The update is there is no update. You hear speculations about November this, November that, but once you go to the Twitter page, you don't see nothing. So not only who is telling the truth, but if there are any details on this fight, ain't nobody letting that cat out the bag. Steven Espinosa, nobody is saying nothing. You know, Al Heyman, the king of quiet, you know you ain't gonna hear nothing from Al. So if you want to hear any official news from or about this fight, most likely it's going to be from Bud, Spence, or maybe Steven Espinosa. Shout out to Steven Espinosa. He has been, I guess, as transparent as he can be about this fight. He has disclosed as much as he can possibly disclose about this fight. But the fact is, Errol knows, Bud knows that the sport of boxing wants this fight. The fans want this fight. But if Bud and Errol themselves aren't willing to make this fight happen, then this fight ain't gonna happen. Look past dollars and cents. If I put myself in Errol Spence or Terence Crawford's shoes, I really have to look at this fight like this is a part of my legacy. This is a huge part of my legacy. And how do I want my legacy to look without, pound for pound, the other top fighter in my division name on my belt, whether it's a victory or whether it's a loss? Because if I'm Bud, everything that I've accomplished in boxing so far, it may put me in the Hall of Fame. But not fighting Errol Spence, pound for pound, one of the top guys in the division, and boxing, period. one of the baddest men on the planet. If I don't have that fight on my resume, then my resume is incomplete. And the same thing goes for Errol Spence. If I do not have Terence Bud Crawford name on my resume, then my resume is incomplete. Now, you have a lot of channels, y'all. I mean, these fucking channels, man. I mean, clearly, not only they are fans, but to some degree, they fanboys, man. Because, I mean, it's like, in particular, let's talk about Errol Spence. Shout out to Texas. But Errol has a lot of love and devotion when it comes to fans and when it comes to channels talking about Errol, talking about this fight. And it's like nobody can do no wrong if they mention Errol Spence's name, especially in relation to talking about this fight. Everybody believes that the holdup is coming from Terence Bud Crawford's side. Now, if you want to listen to everybody talk about the fight, that's fine. But personally, I have no fucking clue. I haven't heard anything from Bud. I ain't heard shit from Spence. I haven't seen anything in the news, anywhere. Only thing that I've seen and heard is speculation. Everybody's being highly speculative when it comes to this fight. When is this fight going to happen? Where is this fight going to be? Who's going to get the most money? I mean, fact is, it doesn't matter who gets the most money, because having a stellar legacy is fucking priceless. Terence Crawford, he went to the Hall of Fame and he's seen these guys getting inducted. He's seen how it feels when you're standing amongst your peers, when you're standing amongst fellow Hall of Famers, and you see the smiles on these guys' faces. You see the honor in their eyes when they're receiving their awards, and when people are talking about the accolades of their career, the things that they have accomplished in the sport of boxing. Terence Crawford had the opportunity to see how that feels. So for you to not want that, something has to be wrong with you. But I believe he does want that. But Errol Spence, having this fight on his resume with Errol Spence, he has to have that to solidify his legacy, especially at 147. He has to. You can't fight, or you cannot fight Errol Spence and then move up to 154 and face anybody. No, you have unfinished business at 147. You went to 147 because you wanted to stake your claim. You wanted to let everybody at 147 know that you are the man. And as they say, you can't beat a man unless you beat the man. And Terence Crawford may be pound for pound best fighter in the sport. Maybe Canelo, who knows? But people revere Terence Crawford as pound for pound the best. But when it comes to the welterweight division, there's always an argument. Is it Bud? Is it Spence? Is it Boots Ennis? So when somebody puts your name and they can't help but to mention somebody else's name, not only is it room for an argument, but you have competition. And boxing is a sport of competition. That's why you can't walk into that ring and fight yourself unless you keep Thurman. But we'll get into that. So Terence Bud Crawford, Spence, you gotta make this fight happen, gentlemen. You gotta make this fight happen. And if they are putting money as the quote-unquote halting point for this fight, I just can't understand why people aren't looking at the bigger picture. Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence has the potential to be a trilogy. This is how big this fight is. This is probably the biggest fight in a decade. So why get caught up on figures in fight one when you could potentially get 3 fights out of this matchup? And this isn't a regular matchup. This is a legendary matchup. Legendary. It's not black against Mexican. It's not Mexican against Puerto Rico. You have 2 brothers pound for pound, the best at their craft. Both champions. Both possibly future Hall of Famers. Both have a great following in the sport of boxing. So why not make it happen? The money is going to be there. Both of these guys are going to see chips when they fight. When they come head to head, face to face. They're going to see, I mean, this fight, I'm telling you, y'all, like, I'm looking at this fight between these two guys, and I heard this podcast. I mean, they were literally fucking cursing and yelling and ranting, cussing Terence Crawford out. Like, how can you curse Bud out? Because it's clear, it was very clear that not only they were fans of Errol Spence, but they rep Errol Spence. You know what I mean? As far as their channel backs Errol Spence in this fight. Their channel backs Errol Spence as far as the lack of negotiations in this build up to this upcoming fight. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that, because that is their platform. That is their time to talk about this fight, however they may want to. And if you have one viewer or hundreds of viewers or thousands of viewers, and if they tune in and they want to hear that, then guess what? My hat's off to you. Because some people are going to be for this fight. Some people are going to be against it. Some people are going to be for Errol Spence. Some people are going to be against him. Some fans are going to be for Bud Crawford. Some people are going to be against him. But see, when you look at this fight from a fan's point of view, you always want to have conflict. But when you look at this fight from an analytical point of view, you just have to simply see it as this fight has to happen. Not only for legacies, but also for the sport in general. This fight has to happen. It has to. You can't have a career and let me retract my statement. You can't have in my opinion, you can't be fulfilled in your career if I don't have that name on my resume. Because I don't care what kind of fighter you are or who you are as a fighter, you have somebody or you see certain people in the game that you feel as though that you have to fight because you want that name or that victory on your resume. Some people wouldn't mind getting these names on their resume, even at a loss. But the true champions and the true elite of the game, they want these they want these names on their resumes with a W beside it. Some don't mind an L, because guess what? You can say you got beat by this person. And besides that, you had the biggest payday of your career. But the true champions, the true elite competitors of the game, they want these names, but they want victory behind it. And I truly believe, in my opinion, that that's a large personal conflict between Spence and between Crawford. They know that somebody has to lose. Now, the bragging rights, in my opinion, especially because Spence has talked some shit and Bud has talked some shit. You know what I'm saying? And Spence, do you want, you know what I'm saying? I mean, just think about this shit for a second. Think about all the shit that's been talked about. And if you're Errol Spence, could you live with the fact that you got beat by Terence Crawford? Fuck the money. Take the money out of it. How would that affect your mind state? Because personally, I don't think that's going to affect their careers at all. They're both undefeated. Phenomenal careers so far. And if either one of them loses, you lost to pound for pound the best of that quote unquote welterweight era. Because truly that's what's on the line, especially Manny Pacquiao left his mark as far as being the older welterweight champion. He has walked away from the sport of boxing. He has retired. So now you have a new era of fighters. Now, who is going to be the future face of this generation when it comes to the welterweight division? That is what ultimately, in my opinion, they should be fighting for. That's the legacy that you want to leave, because when Terence Crawford and Errol Spence leaves the division, you have a slew of upcoming talent, you know what I mean, who are waiting to take over that division. Namely, Jaronennis, also Conor Benn. Possibly these two young, phenomenal competitors will hopefully they'll lock up and they will go at it, because that will be not only an awesome fight, but leading into the new generation and the new phase of the welterweight division, there are some fights that are going to put this division on a crash course of success. And to have Jaronennis behind that wheel, the division is in good hands, because he said he wants to fight anybody. And see, what I like about these new fighters, or these new young guys, they are giving each other not only props and not only respect, but they want to make these fights happen. So when I see Conor Benn have an interview and he's talking about the division, and he's talking about, when somebody asked him a question, how do you feel about Jaronennis? And he says this.
Great fighter. Great fighter.
He's a great fighter. He's a great fighter. That's what he is. Now, if you're a competitor and you recognize greatness in another one of your peers, don't you want to test your greatness and go up against their greatness? Because see, if you're Crawford, if you're Spence, ultimately that's what you're doing. It's greatness against greatness. And once you put that shit together, we're going to have a great fight. So what's the holdup? That is the question everybody wants to know. And literally, you see channels and you see fans, you see people in the comments arguing, going back and forth, because they're trying to figure out what is going on with this fight. When is this fight going to take place? When is this fight going to happen? People are putting out so many narratives and fake news and speculation and fake dates and fake venues behind this fight. And I understand, you know what I mean? Because when it comes to YouTube, everything is about clicks. Everything is about likes. Everything is about views, especially when your channel gets monetized. If you're not generating clicks and likes and views, you know what I'm saying, then you're not getting paid. That is why I love to just, at this point, talk about the sport of boxing. I'm not worried about none of that kind of shit. I love to just talk about the sport of boxing right now. Because see, when you start implementing too much business into the game, you lose something. The business will take care of itself. The money will take care of itself. A lot of people are, you know what I'm saying, letting this bullshit, you know what I mean, manipulate and really curve their channels and shit in a different light. And you shouldn't do that. Always talk the truth, man. Always speak the facts. Especially when you're talking to the people, when you're talking to your fans, the people who support you. So if you got to put fake news out there, you know what I mean, for people to listen to, then something ain't right. And I hate to say it, because it really, when it comes to Spence and Crawford, is really not that much to talk about. You could talk about these guys individually, but when it comes to the fight, what really can we say? Because as creators, as fans, even people in the media, what do we truly know? Now, unless you're on the inside. And people who are on the inside, come on, man. You know these people ain't gonna be talking shit, because, you know what I'm saying, they say loose lips sink ships. People can lose jobs and careers and shit behind letting the wrong information get out, putting the wrong shit out there about a Spence and Crawford fight. It's too much on the line. So trust me, people are keeping their mouth shut. Anybody that's close to Showtime, Stephen Espinosa, or even Spence and Crawford themselves, or their camp management or families or whatever, everybody is keeping their mouth shut. If anybody knows anything, they're not saying shit, because that is how much is on the line. That is how big this fight is. And I must say, they're doing a very good job. They're not letting shit leak. They're not letting nothing slide. Because when it comes to facts and details and information about this fight, we haven't heard shit. And that's actually a good thing, because people love to talk. But when it comes to this fight, the people on the inside, ain't nobody saying shit. They are keeping this very, very hush-hush. They say it's close. They say it's almost about to happen. This, that, and the third. When I see a post from the PBC or Showtime or Terence Crawford or Errol Spence's verified, Twitter accounts, that is when I believe some shit. But when it comes to facts, don't believe everything that you hear and see on fucking YouTube. You know what I mean? Don't do it. I made that mistake believing, watching people shit, and people just putting shit out there, and that shit be a motherfucking lie. And you go off and talk about it and do a fucking video based on some shit that somebody said, and that shit is false. That shit is fake news. Fuck that. I don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't repeat the same mistake. So now I talk about information and facts that I have researched and that I know about. Before I even went live, as I said, I went to their Twitter accounts, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, to see if they posted anything in relation to this fight. And I saw nothing. No recent post at all. So it ain't nothing to talk about. There's no new updates other than the last update that we may have heard. And that was some time ago. Bud did an interview, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, with Fight Hype, and they were talking about it like right before. I believe this is like when Mo Hooker was getting ready for the Blair Cobbs fight, and they interviewed Bud, and vaguely they asked him the question in relation to what's going on with the fight. If you can't talk to Bud, you can't talk to Spence without somebody asking that question. And he said something in relation to, they're still talking about it, this, that, and the third. And then he retracted his statement. He said, yeah, I mean, like the fight is, close or whatever like that. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. Like, these dudes is making antagonizing, statements and shit. It's like, to a degree, it's like they tired of people asking them about it, because they truly don't have anything to say in relation to it. But that just comes with the game. That just comes with being one half of a major fight, especially the biggest fight probably in a decade. You don't even hear anything going on, or you don't even hear people talking about Canelo Alvarez and Triple G. And Canelo is pound for pound, as they say, pound for pound great, possibly the other pound for pound top fighter in the world, in the sport of boxing. And you don't even hear anybody talking about his fight. So if they're not talking about Canelo, who they talking about? They talking about Crawford. They talking about Spence. But what is they saying? What is they saying? And I watch these channels, man, you know what I mean? I be watching these fucking videos, and it's like people just keep on asking the same questions and getting the same fucking answers, which is nothing. You know what I mean? Which is fucking nothing. So it's like, I mean, what the fuck, man? That's why I said, you know what, man? That's why I want the fight to happen, just so these guys can fight, get that shit out get it out of the boxing system, so these guys can move on, and the up and coming guys in the division, they can get their time to shine. And let's see what they bring to the proverbial table. But to conclude that, before we talk about, you know what I mean, briefly, kind of Bennett's around through sentence, like, I will have to give it to Spence, because Spence has put in his work in the welterweight division. Bud has fought some of his leftovers, but for Bud to supersede what Spence has done in the welterweight division, He has to fight him, and he has to beat him. Point blank, period. Nothing else to be said. But although people may revere Terence Crawford as pound for pound the best fighter in the world, until he faces and beats Errol Spence, Errol is the name to beat at 147. He may not be the most talented fighter at 147, because in my honest opinion, the most talented fighter at 147 skill-wise is Boots and probably Crawford. But Boots and Crawford ain't going to motherfucking fight. Would it look like Boots and Crawford having a fight before Spence fights Bud Crawford? And if that happens, I'll be fucking surprised. I will be fucking surprised. Because you got Keith Thurman swimming around talking about he's not afraid of the young guys and all this kind of shit. You know what I mean? But in my opinion, Keith Thurman, I ain't gonna say he's afraid to fight some of these fucking young lions and shit. But at the same time, I mean, Keith Thurman, man, he does a lot of talking, man. He does a lot of talking, man. He does a lot of talking. And these young guys, they want their opportunity. They want their opportunity. Keith Thurman, he wants to fight this person. He wants to fight that person. But yet he don't want to accept, you know what I mean? He don't want to sign contracts. And he's pricing himself out of fucking fights. But according to speculation, that is what they're doing between Crawford and Spence. I mean, the money is there. You know, in my opinion, I don't think it should be a 50-50. So if that's what's holding it up on Terence Crawford's side, then I don't agree with that. I do believe that Errol should get more than Bud, but it shouldn't be like on some 80-20, 70-30. Nah, it should be like I'd say maybe like 55-45, something like that. You know what I mean? He should get marginally a bit more than Terence Crawford. He has 3 of the 4 titles. He has had better success for better names at 147. But in the sport of boxing, you have to respect what Terence Crawford has done in the sport of boxing. And I believe that's probably where a lot of shit get misconstrued, because the argument of Terence Crawford and company is what he has done in the sport of boxing. And you can't argue that. But when you look at what has he done in the sport, in the division, that's something different. What he has done in the division at 147, he hasn't done as much as Errol. So if Errol Spence's argument is predicated upon that, Errol Spence, he wins that argument. But if you look at the argument of what has Terence Bud Crawford done in the sport of boxing, then that's something different. And you really shouldn't do that, because the sport of boxing is the sport of boxing. You look at what have you accomplished in the division, whatever division that we're fighting for, which is 147, what have you accomplished? Errol has accomplished more at 147 than Terence Bud Crawford has. Current unified 3-belt champion. Terence Bud Crawford only has 1 title. Spence has defended the IBF title, I believe. You know what I'm saying? I forgot. He's been IBF champion for like, I don't know, 3 to 5 years, some shit like that. So he's been a champion for a long time at 147. And he's gotten all his belts by defeating, you know what I'm saying, champions and shit. So Errol has had the better career at 147. So therefore, marginally, he should get the bigger piece of the pie. I ain't saying he should get the whole cake, but he should get a healthy slice. And like I said, man, Bud takes what he needs to take in this fight. And then the second fight, which I believe it should be a rematch clause for both fighters. They both should want that rematch clause. And then if you're successful and you beat Errol Spence the second fight around, guess what? Then you're going to be the A side as far as the money, and they're going to have to pay you. I keep on telling people, man, like Spence and Crawford need to take a page out of Devin Haney's book. Look what Devin Haney did with George Kambosos. He took less money because he saw the bigger picture. The bigger picture was him becoming the undisputed champion. And he knew and he was prepared to do whatever he had to do to make that become a reality. Kambosos and company, they tried to get in his head by making him take less money. They tried to get in his head by fucking his father up when his father couldn't initially come over there with the rest of the team. They try to do everything to rattle Devin Haney emotionally, to try to disrupt him and take his mindset off of his square and fuck him up and rattle him so he'll be flustered once he came to Australia and possibly step into that ring, have so much on his mind and in his heart that he doesn't fight the fight that he needs to fight to beat Kambosos. But it didn't work. He had God on his side. You know what I mean? He had other factors on his side. Shout out to Bob Arum. People forget Bob Arum is also an attorney. So Bob Arum, trust me, man, Devin Haney had Bob Arum over there working. You know what I mean? And his father was able to come over there. Devin Haney was able to execute. And guess what? He became the undisputed lightweight champion. Call him an email champion, call him this, call him that, call him the third. But you can't do anything. You can't get any belt in that division without seeing Devin Haney. That is the page that Errol Spence and Bud needs to take. They need to look at that young brother and say, you know what, man? Because that's a great example. Because that same scenario that Devin Haney had to go through in his end, the parameters are a bit different, but the aptitude needs to be the same. So if it's Bud Crawford, it needs to take less in order to become the undisputed champion at 147. And then after that, possibly move up to 154 and face Charlo for his belts and may have a chance to become undisputed at 54 and further deepen his legacy as a fighter. That is what Terence Crawford has the opportunity to do. That is the opportunity, that is the legacy that he has the opportunity to fulfill. He can be undisputed in 3 divisions, possibly. So if you have to take a little bit less money in order to do that, I think that's an easy price tag. That's an easy price tag. Easy price tag. I just seen an interview that Terence Crawford did, and they asked him the question about how did you feel when you got your first, 6-7 figure check. And he said, I felt like nothing. Because see, when you broke and you come from nothing, you try to remember that to keep you humble, to keep you grounded. So if you can say that, if those words can come out of your mind and come out of your mouth and come out of your heart, how can you allow money? That's if that is the principle that's holding this fight up on Terence Crawford's side, as they or some people say. If you can say that in that interview, how could you allow money to hold this fight up? That's if you're Terence Crawford. You're totally contradicting yourself. Now, in that interview, that's not speculative because I heard him say that out of his mouth. But when it comes to the Terence Crawford fight and with Spence, you hear a lot of speculation coming from people who are in the sport and realm of boxing, but who are not directly attached to either side. The only person that I've heard speak that has anything to do with Terence Crawford or Errol Spence is Stephen Espinosa. And Stephen Espinosa, he didn't jump on anybody one side. He made it very clear when it came to the parameters of finances that Errol wants what he wants, but at the same time, you can't and you cannot just give Terence Crawford peanuts. You just can't give him, the short end of the financial stick. You have to look at what he has done. Yes, Errol Spence may have had better pay-per-view numbers, but Terence Crawford pay-per-view numbers, for the most part, were decent. But that's either here nor there, because you have to look at the pay-per-view numbers that you're going to do together. And the numbers that they're going to do together are going to be fucking huge. Those numbers are going to be what Pacquiao Mayweather should have been. And with now the fans and everything, they can get back into arenas, because I guess the COVID protocols, even though it still exists, but now fans are allowed back into the arenas. So the money between pay-per-view, gates, sponsorships, back end, whatever. You have various lanes that this fucking money will be coming in for Bud and for Spence. These dudes are going to be eaten. They are going to be eaten. And if this fight goes from one fight to two fights to a trilogy, then they are going to secure quite the bag when it's all said and done. And they should be able to move away from the division a happy camper. If you are Terence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence, and if they go to 154, I keep on telling people, man, if Bud wants to fight Charlo at 54 and Errol moves up to 54, it's a possibility that they can fight again at 54. And depending upon who, because Charlo not going to be undisputed at 54 for the rest of his career at 54. Eventually, somebody's going to beat him, and it could be Errol Spence or it could be Terence Crawford. Charlo and Spence have said that, you know what, if the money is right, yeah, we'll fight each other. So if Errol Spence moves up to 54, you don't think, I mean, what's the point of moving up to 54 if it ain't to be a champion? Everything that you have accomplished and all the money that you have made from the Charlo fight, for real, that's enough for you to walk away. So if you move up to 154, this is if you're Terence Crawford, you're not moving up to 54 unless you are fighting for a title. So if Charlo got the title and you said, okay, if the bag is right, we'll fight each other, then guess what? Then possibly they're going to be fighting. And then if Terence Crawford moves up to 54, he wants to fight Charlo at 54, or he wants a shot at the title. Let's just say that at 54. So it's a possibility that they can fight again. This is Bud and Spence at 54. So any way that you look at it, these guys are going to not only fight at 47, but they possibly are going to fight again at 54. So I don't understand why the holdup, as they say, for this fight. I just don't get it, because they're going to fight eventually. So what's the holdup? But you know what? Let's talk about, we had a live yesterday and we were talking about Jaronennis and Conor Benn. This is the future at 147. This is the future at 147. Danny Garcia, he chimed in about Spence and about Crawford at 147. So matter of fact, I'm gonna show y'all that.
Playing out. I feel like Spence is the bigger welterweight. He's the bigger, stronger guy. It's gonna be interesting to see how Spence fights another southpaw like him. I just feel like this fight's gonna come down to whoever wakes up or whoever feels better on that day. And whoever believes in himself more that day, that's who's gonna win, because both guys are mentally strong, both guys are skilled.
Yeah, and I think we'll probably find out which one of those guys have got a hell of a chin, because they both can throw some serious leather, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Spence is strong. He's a strong puncher, but Crawford throws the shorter punches. If Crawford gets ahead, starts controlling the fight with his jab and backing Crawford up, then I can see Spence winning. But if Spence goes in there, if Crawford goes in there and finds a rhythm, then it might be a W for Crawford.
Now, Danny Garcia has faced Errol Spence. Danny Garcia hasn't faced Bud Crawford. But the way that he broke that down, that's a good breakdown for Danny Garcia. It's a very good breakdown for Danny Garcia. But the question is, will it happen? Will it happen? Because see, when you have fighters like this right here, that is the future at 147. Shout out to Terence Bud Crawford for acknowledging Jaron Ennis, for acknowledging that Jaronennis, he deserves to fight the elite of the division. Errol Spence, he wants people and fighters like Boots to wait their turn. But in boxing years, Spence and Crawford, they starting to climb that age ladder. Both of these guys are, you know what I mean, they're approaching their mid-30s. And I believe both of them said that they're not trying to fight, you know what I'm saying, like when they fucking 40. And depending upon how these guys are fighting, you're only fighting probably, what, once a year? These guys ain't fighting 2-3 times a fucking year, man. So therefore, how many viable years does these guys have left in the sport of boxing? How many? So it's quite clear that Keith Thurman is most certainly trying to, let's just say, Keith Thurman is he's working on his fucking, his retirement plan. That is why he priced himself out of the Jaronennis fight. Shout out to Bozy Ennis, the father and trainer of Jaronennis, saying that Keith Thurman, he wanted upwards of, Bozy said 10 million. 10 million to fight fucking Thurman. That's fucking ridiculous. If you are a fucking Keith Thurman, why do you want 10 million to fight Jaronennis? You're not going to get fucking 10 million to fight Spence or to fight fucking Crawford. And Spence already told fucking Keith Thurman and shit like, I'm not fucking with you. I'm not fighting you. You didn't give me a chance when I was coming up. Now you're trying to work on that Keith Thurman retirement plan. And you try to get that payday and you're not going to get it. And Bud is tied up trying to fight Spence. And despite how long these negotiations may be taking, they both have said that the fight will happen this year. They both have said that. Where Frank Martin just came off his last victory and they interviewed Errol Spence after the fight when he had his promoter hat on talking about Frank Martin. He said this is the closest that they have ever been. If it does not happen now, it is never going to happen. End quote. So if they are closer than they have ever been, some people say like, what's the holdup? Why aren't we hearing anything? And to a degree, I understand why people feel like that. But I also understand that things are not going to happen when we want them to happen. I truly understand that. Because in the sport of boxing, you have a lot of, you know what I mean? The sport of boxing is like the Twilight Zone, man. The shit is like the fucking Matrix. There's a lot going on. And if you're not behind these closed doors, if you're not subject to being a fly on the wall, if you're not a part of these camps and these management teams, then you're always going to be receiving second, third, fourth hand information. So that misinformation sometimes is put out there to keep people in the fucking dark. So that's why we can speculate and we could talk about this, we could talk about that, but we truly don't know what the fuck we're talking about unless we hear it from the horse's mouth. And with this fucking fight, they really keeping that shit real fucking hush, hush. And I understand it, but to a degree, I don't understand why these guys are keeping this fight so hush, hush. It's already out there that you guys are in negotiations. So at least, in my opinion, you guys should be giving updates, letting fans know, okay, we still talking. But I think to a degree, because Spence had talked about this shit already, he kind of went out when he aired out that quote unquote the new media and all that kind of shit. When he put it out there that people was putting fake news and shit like that out there. I think they're doing that. They're trying to freeze the media out because people have speculated and put out so much false information regarding this fight and each individual fighter. So I think they're kind of freezing the media out by not saying anything, by not putting anything out there, which I could totally understand. Because see, as a fan of the sport, and also watching a lot of these, you know what I'm saying, like Fight Hype, Fight Hub and all that, you know what I mean? Like you watch these different outlets because Especially, okay, that's a good example, especially Fight Hype and Fight Hub. They're the two largest, besides DAZN, PBC, and Top Rank. They are two of the largest channels that we as boxing fans, we go to for and to receive a lot of our boxing information or our boxing news. But Spence and Crawford, they don't even go to those outlets and drop a lot of their news. You see Floyd fuck with Fight Hype a lot. Recently, you're seeing Keith Thurman do a lot of interviews with Fight Hub in relation to what's going on in his boxing career and possible upcoming fights. But when it comes to Bud and it comes to Spence, they really not fucking with nobody. You know what I'm saying? Not in a negative way, but they're just not getting on these outlets and channels talking about the fight or lack thereof. So that should really let people know that when it comes to this fight, we really just don't know what the fuck is going on. So I'd rather talk about the future of the division opposed to the current state of the division. And the future of the division, like I said, man, is Jaron Boots Ennis and Conor Benn, Stanionis, Virgil Ortiz. We seen Blair Cobbs after his recent victory. He's trying to let everybody know that he is still active. He is still there at 147. I mean, these names and these guys are potentially, you know what I mean, like they're the future of the division. And Ugas is he's still one of the lasting veterans in the division. I just got finished speaking about Ugas. Like, where the fuck is Ugas at? Ugas been real quiet. He's been real quiet. Where's Ugas at? Ugas for Spence. I think Ugas and Crawford will be a good fight. And I hate to put Crawford in the position or the conversation saying that, you know what, like, okay, Thurman Crawford will be a good fight. Ugas Crawford will be a good fight. Boots Crawford will be a good fight. When they're talking about, or when Spence and Crawford is the fight, is the only fight between those two guys that should be talked about. But everybody is in proverbial limbo about this fucking fight, and nobody don't know what the fuck is going on. So we're led to talk about all the other activity that's going on in the division. So with that said, Conor Benn and Jaron Boots Ennis, like these two guys, man, when I did my homework on Conor Benn, son of Nigel Benn, like Conor Benn, man, like this young guy is, I mean, he's explosive, man, talented. There's definitely some holes in his game though that Boots can exploit, but him versus Boots will be a fantastic matchup. And all those past guys, they said there were step-up fights for Jaron Boots Ennis. I think if Jaron Boots Ennis and Conor Benn, if that fight ever got made, that will probably be the first viable competition that Boots has probably faced at 147. It's kind of been, like I said, I mean, he's aggressive. He does have a slickness to his style, has good footwork, but he does some things bad with his footwork that can get him in trouble with Jaron Boots Ennis. But still, he's an aggressive puncher. Has good punch selection, has a good left hook, has a good right hand. And like I said, he's aggressive. I mean, if he gets his opponent hurt, he's a great finisher. That will be a very, very good fight for Jaron Ennis. And if Jaron Ennis chose to go to the UK for that fight, that will not only put him in a new market, but that would open up a new market for Jaron Boots Ennis moving forward in his career. And as I said and stated before, like, don't be surprised if Eddiehearn tried to, sorry y'all about the comments and shit. Doughboy, what's up, bro? So like I said, this is only like my second time doing with the StreamYard shit, you know what I mean? My bad on the comments and shit, man. I missed y'all. First comment, Jaron Ennis might be on the card of Spence versus Crawford. Now, I think we talked about that in the last chat, though. You know what I mean? If Jaronennis is on the Spence Crawford, and that's another thing too. You know what I mean? Like that's also, they could still be getting the undercard. They still could be, you know what I mean? It's a lot of shit they could still be putting together for Spence and Crawford. And if Boots is on the undercard of Spence versus Crawford, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like Spencer Crawford, Spencer Crawford, they're going to be looking at Jaron Boots in this fight, especially looking at who he faces and how he does in that fight, because potentially before they leave the division, if they choose to stay there, they're going to have to get this young guy shot because he's the IBF mandatory. I know naturally they're not worried about Keith Thurman, and I believe they're really not too worried about Virgil Ortiz either. And I truly believe that Boots is the one that they worried about. You know what I mean? Because as soon as those titles switch hands, I mean, it's already written in stone. Boots has either his next fight or the fight after that, he's fighting for a title. And chances are he's going to fight Spence or he's going to fight Crawford next year. That is just, you know what I'm saying, what it is. The second comment, he says, but Terence Crawford was undisputed at 140 in 3 different weight classes. You know what I'm saying? Hold up, Terence Crawford was undisputed. Yeah, he was undisputed at 140. But he hasn't been undisputed in 3 weight classes. Yes, he has the opportunity to be undisputed at 3 weight classes. He's undisputed at 140. And if he defeats Errol, he can become undisputed at 147. And then if he goes up, you know what I'm saying, then he can take Charlo's belts and be undisputed at 54. And I talked about that shit, man. It's like if he does that, then bro, I'm telling you, man, like Terence Crawford could walk away from the fucking sport, bro. Dale, what's going on, bro? He said, but like I keep saying, if Spence hits Bud with a good shot, and Bud wants to mix it up, Bud will lose bad. I mean, a lot of people say, you know what I mean? And plus they said that shit about the StreamYard. Like, it's a lag for when the comments go out from y'all and then I receive them on this end. So I apologize again, you know what I'm saying, for being late reading your comments back. But, you know what I'm saying, the answer Dell, though, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people say that Terence Bud Crawford is chinny, you know what I mean? But, I mean, this is boxing, bro. As good as Bud is, he's going to get hit. But, you know what I'm saying, like my uncle said back in the day, man, like when he was teaching us how to fight, it's like you got to pick and choose what you get hit by. And you can get hit with a shot, but just don't allow that shot to do maximum damage. You know what I mean? If Bud can put himself in that position where although he may get hit, he just doesn't get hit with the full brunt of Errol's punches. And if he can avoid getting tore up to the body, because Bud already told that shit to Errol. He said, man, don't try that body shot shit over here. So naturally, Terence Bud Crawford is already not only formulating some shit, but he already got some shit in his mind where he's already, you know what I'm saying, worked out some shit on how to defend against Errol Spence's, you know what I'm saying, body attack. So I don't know. But Bud is going to get hit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he is going to get hit by Errol. And if he get caught with the wrong shot or multiple shots, yeah, he can get hurt and possibly, as you say, lose bad. So we're just going to have to see, man. You know what I mean? But still, you can't. But you know what? To say Crawford is chinny, guess what? Errol can be touched too, man. Looking at Sean Porter and even looking at Ugas. You know what I mean? Like, Errol can be touched, Errol can be hurt. And if you are not a good finisher, then Errol is going to be able to recover and he's going to be on your ass. Terence Bud Crawford is a better finisher than Ugas. If Bud gets Errol hurt, Bud is gonna be on Errol ass. You know what I'm saying? When Ugas got Spence hurt, he sat back and he was reserved and he didn't press Errol Spence. Bud ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Bud hurts Errol. Bud is gonna be on him. You know what I'm saying? Bud knows how to he knows how to apply that fucking pressure. You know what I mean? So just like Bud can get hurt, man, Spence can get hurt too. You know what I mean? So you have to respect, you know what I mean? You have to respect the punching ability from both guys. You know what I mean? From Spence and from Crawford. But I will have to be honest and say, in relation to both, folks have said that Terence Crawford is a bit more chinny than Errol Spence. So I can give you that, and I can't say that because other people have spoke about that, about Terence Crawford. Now, but like I said though, man, you know what I mean? If Spence can't, touch Errol to the point where he can hurt him, then what is Errol going to do at that point? He's going to have to box Bud. He's going to have to box him. And between the two, I don't know, man. Bud is the better boxer. Derrick James has already went on record and said for this fight, Errol Spence is going to have to take his craft and skill set to another level. He's going to have to take that shit to another level, man. You know what I mean? It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an easy fight for Errol Spence, not in the least. You know what I mean? It's going to be some things in this fight, and it's going to be some tests in this fight that both guys are going to have to be ready for and overcome. And if they're not ready for that, then, like I said, man, you know what I mean? Then I don't know. I truly don't. But man, like I said, I'm ready for this. Not only I'm ready for this fight, but I'm ready to see who is the best. Because I'm telling y'all, man, after these guys fight, if they don't fight 2 or 3 times, the guy who their next fight is probably going to be Boots. Their next fight is probably going to be Boots. And for the ones that's in here right now, you know what I mean? Let me switch to the comments right now. Who's ever in here right now, who do you have if Boots, the winner of Spence versus Crawford, if they have to fight Boots, who do you have winning that fight? If it's Spence versus JaronennisS, who do you have winning that fight? If it's Bud versus JaronennisS, who do you have winning that fight? Put that in the comments, you know what I'm saying? Answer that question and put that in the comments. I'm curious to see if everybody's going to say the same thing, or is it going to be a 50-50 kind of split? You know what I mean? Who do you think the winner of this fight, if they have to face Jaron Boots Ennis, the person just coming in, you know what I mean? The question was asked, the winner of Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence, if they have to go fight Jaron Boots Ennis, who is going to be the winner? Who wins that fight between Spence and Ennis? Who wins that fight between Bud and Boots? Who wins that fight? Who wins that fight? Because I'm curious. I'm curious to see what y'all say about that. I know who I picked personally. While y'all get to the comments, let me give y'all my feedback. If Spence fights Jaron Boots Ennis, I think Boots beats Spence. I think Boots beats Spence. I think it'll be a good fight, but looking at the skill set, I think Boots. I think he beats Spence. I think he beats Spence. Boots against Terence Crawford will be a tougher fight. That will be a tougher fight. And I will actually just go out and I'm going to just say that's a 50-50 fight because Bud can switch. Bud also has power. Bud also has a great IQ. But the advantage besides those skill sets that I would give Jaron Boots Ennis going into that fight is his youth. And although Bud he's a good mover, also has good footwork. He is athletic himself. Boots is still the younger guy. So I would give Boots the upper hand as far as youth and possible activity. But Boots, and plus Boots, he also gets stronger as the rounds go on. Sometimes Terence Crawford, he does have a good gas tank, but he stays pretty much steady throughout the fight. Jaron Ennis, he gets stronger as the rounds go on. So if he fights Terence Bud Crawford, that's not going to be a stalemate of a fight. Each round is going to be calculated. You know what I mean? Both guys are going to be thinking. Both guys are going to be executing. But who can keep that pressure up? And especially whoever is stronger throughout the fight, I believe that's who's going to be victorious. And Bud could potentially be the one to take Jaron Boots Ennis past 6 rounds. Remember, nobody has been able to take Boots past 6 rounds. Bud has the ability mentally, and he has the skill set to possibly take Boots beyond 6 rounds. If Bud Crawford could take Jaron Ennis beyond 6 rounds and take him into deep water, that really will make that fight interesting. And that just simply means if he takes him to round 7, that changes everything right there. Right there, that changes everything. So that will be a very interesting fight. And I don't think I have that clip on here right now, but Terence Crawford has said that Jaron Ennis is ready for the elite of the division, namely himself. He said if that opportunity comes, he's going to take advantage of it. And I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that fight. Despite how things go with with Spence, I really hope that Terence Crawford sticks around at 147 to fight and give Jaron Boots Ennis a shot while he's still at 147. I really do. Because Bud has stepped up and said that he wouldn't mind fighting Boots. He thinks that'd be a great fight. He gave him props as being a great young talent. You know what I mean? He says that he's already on that elite level. So that'd be a great fight, man. And I hope that Bud will stick around at 47 to give Boots a shot. I really do. And it doesn't even matter if a title was involved. Just for these two guys to go at it, skill set against skill set between Bud and Boots, that will be a fantastic fight. And I believe it will be a fantastic finish. And I see somebody possibly getting knocked out or stopped in that fight. And that could be a passing of the torch kind of situation. You know what I'm saying? If Boots beats Terence Bud Crawford, that can be like a passing of the fucking torch, man. You know what I mean? And what better person to pass that shit to? Because Boots he already said, like, look, I want to bring the old style of boxing back where the best fight the best. All that babysitting belts and all that shit, man. You know what I mean? Like, that shit really does need to die. Because you have all the, regular titles, the super title and all that kind of shit, man. Like, you have these dudes babysitting belts and they're not even fucking fighting anybody. And certain guys, it's like you gotta pull teeth to get people in the ring with some of these fucking guys. You know what I mean? Like, how can you have a talent like Boo Boo Andre and it's like this guy is begging for fucking fights? Like, come on, man. Like, the best should fight the best, period. You know what I mean? Number one, whoever is right under you should get a shot. And you just keep on knocking them off as they elevate. If you knock off number 2 and number 3 elevates to number 2, then you knock him off. And you keep doing that until either you fight your mandatory or you knock off everybody in your division, and then you relinquish the titles and then you move up. You move up and then you move on to another opportunity, or you set another goal for yourself to be undisputed or a champion at a higher weight class. And I believe that's ultimately what Spence and Crawford is going to do. Because when you got you got Boots, and then you got Conor Benn. Stanionis is a good fighter, man, but I don't see Stanionis being a threat to, like I said, the Conor Benns and you know what I mean, the Jaron Boots Ennis. I think Virgil Ortiz and Stanionis, I think that'll be a great fight for Virgil. I don't think he's ready for, you know what I mean, the top three guys, which are Crawford, Spence, and Boots. I don't think that he's ready for them. But his next fight at 147, I think that'd be a good fight for Virgil, and that'll finally be a good tangible opponent for Virgil Ortiz. Is Stanionis. And for Jaron Boots Ennis, as far as competition within the division, I would have to say either Conor Benn or Ugas. But Ugas has been, you know what I mean, real quiet. Ugas has been on vacation and shit, chilling in the fucking islands with his feet up. He's chilling. It doesn't look like he's in a rush to get back to the sport of boxing. It's too
become the oldest fighter to win a world welterweight title.
My bad on the comments and shit, man. But he says, okay, this is somebody new. Marlon Corey, man, my bad, bro. Boots hasn't faced the level of opponent as either guy, and y'all don't give Spence credit due for his boxing skill. I mean, that's not true at all. I just got finished talking about Spence's skill, and I say all the time, certain aspects of Spence's game is underrated. Marlon Corey also says Spence was not only a silver medalist, but also was able to beat Floyd in sparring, as they say. Floyd is arguably one of the best defensive fighters ever. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. But, I mean, coming from Philly, like I said, that Philly shell is, depending upon how you use the Philly shell, you can get past that. You know what I mean? If you know what to do. And Errol Spence, especially being a southpaw and being a smart southpaw, he has the tools in order to get past that. So if he was successful at beating Floyd, which, as they say, you know, they try to say what happens in the gym, stay in the gym. Like they try to keep those sparring situations, especially if somebody got their ass whooped, they try to keep that shit, low. But Floyd has come out on various platforms and gave Spence his props and shit like that. And in regards to Errol Spence, his status and his skill set, I give Spence all the credit in the world. He has mastered the fundamentals. He's not overly flashy or he's not overly slick, but he still has good footwork, good timing, great jab. We all know how he is as far as his body attack, probably the best in the business, has great strength. So I don't sleep on Errol's skill set at all. But to say this, Errol can be beat. He can be beat. And within the division, two of the top principal guys that can beat Errol Spence is Terence Bud Crawford and Jaron Ennis. It's going to take somebody with a skill set like these guys have, and more importantly, with the intellect that they have. You have to be smart in order to beat Errol, and you have to have power. So you have to have intelligence to beat Errol Spence, and you have to have power to defeat Errol Spence, and you have to have skill to defeat Errol Spence. If you have all three of those things, then you can take out Errol Spence Jr. You can't have one of those things and be able to take out Errol Spence Jr. No, it's going to take a culmination of things, because Errol is intelligent. He is skillful. He is durable, but he can be hurt. He can be disrupted, and he can be offset. And that is the beginning of how you beat anybody. If you can disrupt what they do, and you can offset what they do and take them out of their comfort zone, take them out of their element, you can defeat them. If somebody can take away Errol Spence's jab, if they can limit his body attack, if they can keep Errol Spence moving and keep him from sitting on his punches and keep him from sitting on that power jab and setting that jab up, then you can beat Errol Spence. But as I said, that takes intellect. Crawford can do that. Boots can do that. Now, I don't see somebody like Virgil Ortiz being able to do that. I don't see somebody like Stanionis being able to do that. Ugas had a chance, but Ugas didn't fight the fight that he should have fought. He sat in front of Errol Spence and ultimately wound up getting broke down. His best shot was when he caught Errol Spence, had Errol Spence falling back to the ropes, but he did not get on Errol Spence and try to finish him. That was his mistake, and that was the last one of the fight for Dennis Ugas. After that, Errol broke his ass down, tore him up, busted him up, and eventually he wound up getting him up out of there. But that same mistake, you can't look at everybody else to do that. And namely, the top guys left in the division for Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, as far as upcoming talent, Jaron Ennis, these guys have a different skill set than your Dennis Ugas. I'm sure they're not going to make that same mistake. So that's a great comment, in regards to Errol Spence, from Marlon Corey. But at the same time, nah, man, I give Errol his I've always given Errol Spence his props. But I have to be real and I have to be fair by saying that there is other talent out there that can beat Errol Spence. I mean, I'll be lying. I'll be a fool if I said otherwise. That's why I said some of these channels, man, like they act like Errol can't do no wrong. Nobody can beat him. Remember, they said the same shit about Canelo Alvarez. You know what I mean? Before and after he fought Floyd Mayweather. And then he went up in there and tried to fuck with dmitrybivol and then got upset. You know what I mean? And everybody told Canelo, your ass to get upset again if you go up in there and try to rematch and fight him again. That's why he's fighting an older Triple G. And like Triple G said himself, I have the post. I don't have it, can't put it out right now, but I do have the post. As Triple G said, if there's so much animosity, if you wanted to whoop my ass that bad, why did you wait so long to rematch me? Canelo pretty much just tried to age Triple G out because Triple G, as far as skill set, Triple G's skill set is disruptive and has always disrupted Canelo Alvarez. And I do believe that Triple G has enough in the tank to give Canelo another tough fight. They say, no, he don't got it. Canelo will knock him out. He's over the hill. Remember, man, Triple G just fought, Murata in Japan. He just fought. So it ain't like, he's like super, super rusty. So he had a tough, and Murata was a tough fight. He's a tough opponent. And Triple G did a hell of a job. So Canelo Alvarez, this fight right here, man, like don't look and don't think that Triple G ain't got a shot at upsetting Canelo Alvarez. And dmitrybivol just knocked off Canelo. And if Triple G goes into this fight, and if he knocks off Canelo, I'm telling you, man, that is going to be the beginning of the end for Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso. Because Eddie Reynoso, his win-loss ratio ain't looking too good. Like I said, Canelo lost, Oscar Valdez lost, and like I said, they lost back-to-back. So if they lose one more big fight, you know what I mean? Like their whole team, their whole camp is going to be looking kind of, suspect. Andy Ruiz leaving, Ryan Garcia leaving, and a couple of other people leaving. Like everybody's going to be like, see, that's why. You know what I mean? That's why. So I'm telling you, man, like the division, and then, a lot of quote unquote the A sides in boxing, it's about to be a power shift. It used to be a power struggle, but now it's going to be like a power shift in the sport of boxing and upcoming, weeks, months, and years to come. A lot of these quote unquote the A sides, the guys who were the A side, I mean, it's going to take. I mean, you got some new blood coming into the fold. Some things are going to be changing. You got the heavyweight division is starting to heat back up. You hear Tyson Fury, supposedly he was supposed to be retired. Now you're hearing Tyson Fury talk about he wants to fight Derek Chisora. I thought you're supposed to be retired. Tyson Fury said, "Man, you want me to get back in the ring? You got to give me $200 million," which is fucking crazy, by the way. But now you got Usyk, you got Joshua. They're about to get it on, and Usyk looks in great shape. And I like Robert Garcia. Shout out to RGBA, but he wants Anthony Joshua to be more aggressive, and making Anthony Joshua more aggressive against Alexander Usyk, I think that, I mean, he's going to run into a brick wall. Joshua may get stopped or knocked out in this fight. Usyk is definitely a better boxer. And from what I've seen, Usyk movements, like his movement is looking quicker. I just got finished talking about this, man. Like Usyk and Hatek and Vasily Lomachenko, like these guys, they may have been in the Ukraine at war, but these guys are still working. And if you guys know anything about, you know what I'm saying, the military, even though you're off at war, you still do PT, which is physical training. So when the soldiers was getting down doing PT, push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks, running, all that kind of shit, guess what? Lomachenko, Usyk, these guys was working out too. So that's why it wasn't too hard for them to come back to the States and get back in the gym and start training. When you seen Usyk when he came back to the States, like Usyk, he didn't blow up. He wasn't overweight. And if you just seen recent photos of Lomachenko, he hasn't blown up himself. So like these guys may be in the Ukraine, they may be on the front lines, but they still are somewhat physically active. So once they come back and get back into the sport of boxing, it's not going to take them long to reacclimate to the sport of boxing. And Usyk, he looks good, man. I'm trying to tell you, his movement looks good. And from what I've seen, like he's working on, if Joshua is pressuring him, you know what I mean? And he was working on, you know what I'm saying? He's working on his upper body movement, moving backwards. And that's not easy to do, especially for a heavyweight. And not only did he look good doing it, but the speed in which he was doing it looked impressive. And like I said, he's already a phenomenal boxer. He does have power. So I'm most curious to see what Alexander Usyk, how he's going to look, you know what I mean, with Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua or Robert Garcia wants Anthony Joshua to use his height and his weight and his size on Usyk. And but I just don't see that being a factor when they fight. I mean, I really think that he's going to wind up getting stopped or knocked out. He's going to try to be too aggressive, and he's going to wind up running into something, and he's going to wind up getting hurt. This is Anthony Joshua. But Deontay Wilder, he's over there training at the UFC, you know what I'm saying, facility for a possible, you know what I'm saying, comeback himself. They have several names, according to Shelley Finkel, on who possibly Deontay Wilder can face. And I think the name that everybody is talking about is Robert Helenius for Deontay Wilder. And but like I said, I mean, who knows, man? Because Deontay Wilder, he is Deontay Wilder 1.0. 2.0, we seen how 2.0 looked when he faced Tyson Fury. That wasn't the best version of Deontay Wilder, but Deontay Wilder has reset. He is Deontay Wilder 1.0. He is back to looking like himself. He looked like he is probably about between 214 and 220. He looks like the old Deontay Wilder. And I just got finished talking about this with one of my subs in the comments, you know what I mean? Like, he was talking about Deontay Wilder can't box. And nobody can argue with that. Deontay Wilder cannot box. He's not a proverbial boxer. He doesn't have that skill set. But what Deontay Wilder can do is fight. He is a fighter. Just like you have some boxers who are slick, who are skillful, then you have some fighters who are what you call boxer punchers. You know what I mean? They just have that aggressive punching style. Deontay Wilder is a fighter. He's a puncher. And with that right hand, that is the ultimate, equalizer. And him being a heavyweight, your bread and butter is your jab. And his jab, his 1-2 is one of the best in the business. He has knocked out a lot of his opponents just off of the 1-2. So if you can get on that line, this if you're Deontay Wilder, and you can set somebody up and you can get them on that line and you can throw that 1-2 and you can take them out. Shit, if that's all you need to do, then that's all the fuck you need to do. I've always said that, Deontay Wilder, he may not be able to improve as far as becoming or being a boxer, but if he just works on his footwork, because his stance is wild, like he's doing martial arts and shit. But if he just shortened up his footwork and learn how to, learn how to turn and throw that shot off different angles and shit, that's all Deontay Wilder has to do. Make your opponent do the work for you. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is just move your feet, just transition your feet. Allow your opponent to walk and turn into the shot. I've always said that, you know what I mean? So that's something that a Malik Scott should have been, should be working on, because I haven't seen Malik Scott working with Deontay Wilder since he came back to the sport. So I don't know if that's still his trainer for his quote unquote comeback. So if it is, it is what it is. But if it's not, I don't know. But Robert Helenius, that's who they're talking about for Deontay Wilder, including several other names. Andy Ruiz Jr., he also called out and would like to fight Deontay Wilder. And they said, depending upon how Ruiz looks against Luis Ortiz, if he's successful, then that may line Andy Ruiz up for a possible shot at Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder. But I believe that Wilder will get a fight under his belt before he faces Andy Ruiz. And that fight that he's getting under his belt will probably be Robert Helenius. That's why they mentioned his name. So for that initial comeback fight, they're talking about Robert Helenius, and if Wilder is successful as far as quote unquote A-side competition, then you're looking at Andy Ruiz, or even he may go across the pond and he may face Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora has also expressed interest in fighting Deontay Wilder as well. And Deontay Wilder crossing, that's going to be a huge draw if he chooses to fight anybody in the UK. Not only will fans come out, but Eddie Hearn is going to pour a lot of money into that fight. And whoever the winner is between Joshua and Usyk, who knows, man? Wilder may get a shot at them. And as far as that, I truly believe that win or lose, I think the Joshua fight will still be there for Deontay Wilder. Joshua could lose to Usyk, and he could still possibly get a shot at Anthony Joshua. So that may be a fight for Deontay Wilder also. So just like that, with the return of Deontay Wilder, with Tyson Fury chipping back in, talking about he want to fight Derek Chisora, the heavyweight division, just like that, is starting to heat back up. So you got the heavyweight division heating back up. Beterbiev is potentially going to do his thing. I forgot the name, who they made mandatory for him. But Canelo is not going to fight Beterbiev. That ain't going to never happen. You know what I mean? We seen what Bivol did. Imagine what Beterbiev will do. Beterbiev, in my opinion, And I've said this before. I went back. I mean, I've done a couple of videos about it and everything. Beterbiev, I think Beterbiev will not, he'll be the one, or he could be the one to finally knock out Canelo Alvarez. His power is that real. You know what I mean? This man has 100% knockout ratio. No TKOs, knockouts. You know what I mean? This dude is obliterating every fucking body. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if you know the tale of the tape about Beterbiev, but this guy's hands are fucking huge. You know what I mean? So like, when you look at Beterbiev, when you look at his hands inside of that fucking glove, most of that circumference in that glove is Beterbiev's hand. His hands are fucking huge. And the dude is strong as shit. You know what I mean? You see the way Beterbiev train, like these guys train fucking different. You know what I'm saying? Like they train different. Like every aspect of their physical being, it gets strengthened and it gets enhanced and shit. So physically, he's just a fucking strong and massive dude, bro. You know what I mean? So like Canelo don't want that smoke. If Bivol upsetting, trust me, he's not gonna go up again and fight Beterbiev. So that shit ain't happening. Going back down to and I don't know if y'all know, man, but Regis Prograis, I think he was talking about this also. Regis Prograis, it looked like he's going to be fighting Zepeda for the vacant title. And that's going to be pretty good. I have to go and do my homework on Zepeda. I don't know a whole bunch about him yet, because like I said, I got to do my homework, because I think I will eventually do a live also talking about the 140-pound division period. Like I said, you got Teofimo, he's about to debut at 140. And Teofimo, he looks good. He looks good. I don't know if you guys have seen the recent post about Teofimo Lopez, and he was showing off his defensive skills, slipping and dodging, and he looks good. He does look good, but training and all that shit don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? Like, how do you look, or how will you look in a fight? That's what's important. Everybody looks good when they training, when nobody's really hitting them back, and all you doing is hitting pads and just moving and dodging and slipping. Everybody looks fantastic. But when you're in an actual fight, then sometimes people tend to look just a bit different. But Teofimo Lopez, you know what I mean, how will he bounce back after that loss to Kambosos? Because with everybody going through their quote-unquote, I guess the mental hurdles of boxing, we seen after Danny Garcia, you seen Keith Thurman talk about it. Going back to Danny Garcia, you heard him talk about the obstacles of depression and just the rigors of the sport of boxing. You know what I mean? Like trying to maintain and be the best and always stay on the level of the top tier. You know what I mean? Of boxing and of your division, the pressures of that. So how will that affect Teofimo Lopez? Has he bounced back mentally from the loss with Kambosos? And if he has, well, I think we are going to have or see a good fight, because I believe Teofimo, he can be strong at 140. And shout out to Regis Prograis, but he said, and he called out, he said, look, talking about Teofimo, like, you got some dogs at 140. But like, don't think coming up to 140 like it's going to be easy, like it's going to be sweet. No, not at all. And I truly believe that. But we're going to see. Because of Teofimo, if he looks good in his debut at 140, then it's going to be some competition at 140. He could possibly, who knows? He might fuck around and fight Adrian. You know what I mean? Adrian Broner. You know what I mean? I think that'd be a good fight. But Prograis against Zepeda, I'm looking forward to that fight. I'm looking forward to doing my homework. on Zepeda. But from what I know and have heard so far, that he's a tough, tough Mexican competitor. Skillful. Does have a loss on his record, but he has vastly improved since he has sustained that loss. So you can't really calculate and judge his skill set based upon that loss, because he has gotten lead. He has gotten very, very, very. He's gotten very much. He's gotten better. And Regis Prograis, he is no longer struggling trying to make weight at 140. He is living life a little bit cleaner, a lot healthier now. Has a constant, dietitian, so his weight is regulated. He's not blowing up. He's not struggling to make weight as he did in the past. He missed weight a couple of times in the past, because he's blown up eating that good, food out there in New Orleans. But I believe he lives in, this is Regis Prograis, I believe he lives in Texas now. But hey, they're eating good in Texas too. It's a lot of fucking good ass barbecue down there in fucking Texas. So he eating good down there too. But he has a dietitian now, and his weight is regulated. He's making 140 with no problems. So Regis Prograis, I look forward to seeing how he does with Zepeda. And like I said, man, 140 has a couple of new players, man. Broner went up to 140. Teofimo Lopez at 140. And Broner says that he's not fluctuating. He says that he wants to stay at 140. So if he wants to stay at 140, because he said he wants to be a champion. Adrian Broner, that's Adrian Broner's goal right now before he leaves the sport of boxing. He wants to be a champion. Again, a lot of people don't have the faith in him. A lot of people say that it's not going to happen. They don't see Adrian Broner becoming a champion again. Look, anything is anything is possible, man. You know what I mean? If your mind, body, and soul is really in the sport, if your mind is set on becoming a champion, and he's with the PBC, I think, and if he really shows Al Heyman and company that he's really dedicated and really serious about it, then who knows, man? They may give him one, one final opportunity to be a champion again. Because if you look at Adrian Broner's career, man, like they have given him a lot of opportunities to be great in the sport of boxing. But he has pissed away a lot of those opportunities with his antics and behavior outside of the ring. But at the same time, like I tell guys, man, like you can't, everybody go through shit. But you have to go through shit in order to live through shit. And once you do that, hopefully it will make you a better man. It will make you a better person. And if you apply those principles and that makeup to your career as far as being a boxer, it could actually make you a better fighter. And I truly believe that Adrian Broner is at the point where he went through what he went through outside of the sport of boxing. He's no longer, being a knucklehead, getting locked up and shit, doing dumb shit. No, he has put that shit to the side. He's focused on the sport of boxing. He's dedicated. And that's one thing I give Adrian Broner, man. Like when it's time to train, when it's time to lock in, he gives it his all. So I want to see what he does against Omar Figueroa. That will be a great challenge. That will be a tough test for Adrian Broner. But if he is successful against Omar Figueroa, then Adrian Broner, moving forward, he will. I think he probably will get a shot at doing something at 140. And like I said, with Teofimo, Regis Prograis, Zepeda, you have some other names. You also have Ryan Garcia trying to campaign at 140 now. And Ryan Garcia, that Tank Davis fight, it doesn't seem like that fight is going to happen. That just seems like it's a lot of smoke and mirrors on Ryan Garcia's behalf. According to reports, they said that from Oscar De La Hoya, he said that he cannot get in contact with anybody from Tank Davis's camp or from his team, which in my opinion, that's bullshit. Come on, man, De La Hoya, you a fucking boss. You're a fucking boss. How's you gonna sit up here and say that you can't get Leonard Ellaby on the phone? Come on, man. All you got to fucking do is hop on a fucking plane, or you can drive to the fucking office, or you can drive to the fucking gym. You know what I mean? Come on, man. if you really try to make that fight between Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, the fight can be made. The fight can be made. You financially said you want to back that fight. Floyd Mayweather has come out and said that, okay, Tank ain't fighting Ryan Garcia at 140. If Ryan Garcia want to fuck with Tank Davis, you got to go down to 135. Ryan Garcia states, okay, no problem. Okay, so now that you got that hurdle out the way, the financial hurdle is out the way, because they also stipulated that if Ryan Garcia wants to fuck with Tank Davis, guess what? You have to go into that fight knowing that Tank Davis is the A side. Period. Ryan Garcia also said, you know what? Yeah, I ain't got a problem with that. Okay. So now you established the A side. The money has been established. So why can't the fight be made? Now all of a sudden people ain't paying their phone bills. Nobody can be reached on the fucking phone. See, they have to stop doing all that motherfucking talking, man. You know what I mean? This is Ryan Garcia. You don't have to be, oh shit. Damn, dog. I'm down fucking. It's like I said, I'm just getting used to the fucking StreamYard shit, bro. I miss your comments, Dell, man. That's my bad, man. So let me shut the fuck up and let me read your comments off, man. Respond to them. Dell said, but Boots is not an undercard fighter. Well, that's a hell of a comment. And to be honest with you, Boots will be if Boots was on the Spence Crawford undercard, that I'm pretty sure that Steven Espinosa, they're going to make him a co-main. You know what I mean? So if Boots was on a Spence Crawford card, I believe that he would probably be a co-main. Most definitely, he'd probably be a co-main, bro. You know what I mean? I could see Boots being a co-main on that card, because I'm telling you, man, like Spence and Crawford is going to be looking at this motherfucking fight because they know possibly in 2023 that Boots is going to get a shot at either Spence or Crawford, whoever going to have a fucking belt. You know what I mean? So whoever has the belt is going to, you know what I mean? They will have to give him a shot because he's going to be a mandatory. So I do believe that he will be on the undercard, but I believe he will be a co-main. The second comment he reads, but Ugas hit him clean when he dropped his mouthpiece and didn't really rock him. Going back to that, Ugas did catch him. Ugas did rock him. But to finish that question, like I said, Ugas had the opportunity to jump on Errol Spence, and he could have put Errol Spence in a position where he did hurt him, but he did not execute. He did not jump on him and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ugas was looking at the fucking ref, and Errol looking at the fucking ref, you know what I'm saying, to save him. It's like, come on, man, this is boxing. Protect yourself at all times. It ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying, it ain't nobody's fault, you know what I mean, that your mouthpiece popped out. Because like I said, Errol, when he got into the accident, when he had to get his, like, you know what I'm saying, he had to get his new teeth and his jaw reconstructed because his mouth got severely damaged from the accident. Like, you have to find a mouthpiece, or he has to get a mouthpiece custom made, because his jawline and his teeth in general isn't the same. You know what I mean? So that's not Ugas' fault. You know what I mean? That's Errol Spence's fucking fault. So Ugas should have been on fucking Errol point blank and period. You know what I mean? He says, but the power and the work rate of Spence going to be a problem. Now everybody talks about Spence's work rate, but when you talk about work rate, you're talking about, I guess, like, his activity, the series of punches that he throws. But if you have a tremendous work rate, this is your Errol Spence. But if you're not hitting your opponent and you're not causing damage, then ultimately, you know what I'm saying, you punching yourself out. But if you had that tremendous work rate and you hurting your opponent, if you putting damage in, then that's something different. So that's the question. We all know Errol Spence has a tremendous work rate, but how effective is he going to be within that work rate? Is he going to be landing those shots? Out of 100%, what is going to be your percentage ratio as far as punches connected? You know what I mean? If it's anything over, you know what I'm saying, 50%, in my opinion, with and given Spence's work rate, then he's going to be in trouble. But if Terence Bud Crawford can keep Errol Spence's work rate as far as him connecting punches, if he can keep that below, you know what I'm saying, 40% or 30%, then that's going to be hella good for Terence Bud Crawford. But if Spence is landing shots on Crawford, and it's like you said, the work rate is 50% and above, that means he's landing and he's putting some hands on Terence Bud Crawford, that he may be in trouble given the duration of the fight. But if Bud can keep that work rate below 40%, ideally, you know what I'm saying, probably in the 30s, 36% or something like that, then Bud is going to be good. Because Bud also, you know what I'm saying, has a work rate. You know what I mean? But Bud is also an accurate puncher. Bud doesn't waste a lot of shots. He says we can get a friendly bet on boots on Spence. Yeah, man, Spence is different. Now, to answer that question, as far as you said boots on Spence. So you're saying that you have boots. You're saying that you have Errol Spence, and I'm gonna keep it on the comments so I don't miss your comments, because like I said, I had it on something else when I showed the banner, so I wasn't able to see the comment, man. I apologize. But I'm gonna keep it on comments, man. So like I said, I don't miss the comments again. So I'm gonna apologize again. But moving on. So like you said, you got Spence over Boots when they fight. It ain't nothing wrong with that, because a lot of people will probably pick Spence to beat Boots. Spence has also commented on that shit, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Basically saying that Jaronennis is young, feels as though maybe he's not experienced enough to basically beat him. You know what I mean? But Boots has been, you know what I'm saying? Boots has been boxing, bro, since he was a fucking kid, number one. And Boots had fought. He's been fighting, you know what I'm saying? Champions or former champions since he was young. His brothers, Pooh and Farah, like these dudes, you know what I'm saying, one time, you know what I mean, was champions, and they ranked when they used to box. So Boots and his man been fighting. He's been fighting great competition, man. When you look at it, I mean, all his life, even before he became a pro. So, I mean, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not taking anything away from Errol Spence. You know what I mean? Spence is the fucking man. You know what I'm saying? One of the best in the game. But when I look at skill set, the skill set that he has, and the skill set that you know what I'm saying, the Boots has, man, like, come on, bro. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, prime example. You look at I'm gonna show y'all this Boots and this clip right here real quick. I mean, you look how slick that Jaron Boots Ennis is. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like this, and see, that's just not Boots in practice doing that shit. Boots can do that shit in a fight, bro. If Boots' opponent was in front of him throwing shots, Boots can move like that standing in front of his fucking opponent. That is going to be hard, especially like you said, with the work rate of Errol Spence. If Errol Spence was in front of Jaron Boots Ennis throwing shots, Boots is skilled enough to stand in front of Errol and dodge and counter those shots. So when I say I had Jaron Boots Ennis beating Errol Spence, I'm looking at it from a skill set point of view. What Errol Spence brings to the table, what Errol Spence does in a fight, Jaron Boots Ennis, can offset a lot of that. Like I said, if you take away Errol Spence's jab, if you take away Errol's body work, then Errol is going to, what is he going to, have left? That's why Derrick James said, facing Terence Crawford, they're going to have to take their game to another level. The shit that Errol does, the shit that Errol has been doing for him to win thus far, he's going to have to take it up a level when he fuck with people like Terence Crawford. Because when you talk about Terence Crawford's skill set, what he can do, what he's capable of, his abilities from top to bottom, like Boots is capable of that same shit, if not more. So Derrick James is talking about Spence has to step his game up and take his shit to another level. Like, he really is going to have to do that in order to not only fuck with Terence Crawford, but to outthink Terence Crawford, to break Terence Crawford down and ultimately beat him. You're going to have to, and that's going to have to be a tough feat, bro, for Errol Spence to sit up there and say that you're going to have to outthink Terence Crawford. That shit ain't gonna be that shit ain't gonna be easy, man. That shit ain't gonna be easy. But guess what? He's gonna have to. Shit. He's gonna have to. So I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a great. I think that'd be a great fight. The only reason I'm riding with you is because styles make fights. Because Canelo should smash Triple G. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Canelo, he should smash Triple G, but you have to look at when he fought Triple G, the first fight, the second fight. If you listen to Triple G thinks he won the first two fights, and arguably, other people think that Triple G won both fights, if not one of the fights, and they're pretty much split at this point. And the third fight is pretty much the fight to show who was the best between the two. You know what I mean? Just like when Fury and Wilder fought 3 times. But between Canelo and Triple G is a little bit different, because not only because of divisions, but based upon skill set. Because Triple G, even though he's older, he still has a solid skill set. And Canelo is just Canelo. He's still pound for pound one of the best fighters in the game. You can't take anything away from Canelo just because he lost to Bivol. You know what I mean? Yes, he lost. He dared to be great. And that's not an excuse for him moving up. No, the better fighter won. You know what I mean? And Dmitrybivol is the better fighter at that weight class. You know what I mean? He may not, as far as skill set, people may not see him as the best fighter. But this is what I try to tell people. You look at Canelo Alvarez when he fought Dmitrybivol. The only difference in that fight was Canelo Alvarez moving up in weight. Canelo Alvarez still had the same skill set. Him moving up in weight didn't take anything away from what he knows, or didn't take anything away from his ability as a fighter. All the skill and everything that Canelo had when he moved up, he still had. He just couldn't do that shit when he fought Dmitrybivol, because Dmitrybivol is a very good boxer, has a great jab, and most importantly, he's a great mid-range fighter, and he's great at, you know what I'm saying, utilizing his offense and keeping his opponent at mid-range. And if he has to get in and mix it up with you, he mixes up his shots very intelligently, and then he gets back to that mid-range game. Prime example, when you seen the sequence when Bivol, he got Canelo and caught Canelo while Canelo was on the ropes. Canelo tried to bait Dmitrybivol back in, And dmitrybivol was like, nah, motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got off. I got my shit off and shit. You know what I mean? Now you come get me. No, I'm not coming back in there, you know what I mean? So I can walk into some shit and you can catch me with a fucking counter. No. You know what I mean? And Bivol is smart. Bivol was intelligent. That's what I'm saying. When you have skill coupled with intelligence, bro, you know what I mean? And, you know what I mean? Skill and toughness, that makes you a tough fighter to beat. And Triple G is older. But like I said, Triple G, he still has a solid skill set. And Triple G still has power. Triple G has enough power for Canelo to respect it. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like Triple G, man, like you can't sleep on Triple G in that fight, man. I'm telling you, Triple G may go into that fight, and I believe that he may have success. I'm not saying that Canelo is going to fucking wash him. You know what I mean? Not at all. And I'm not saying that Triple G is most certainly going to wash him. But what I am saying is that Triple G has a shot at making that a disruptive fight for Canelo Alvarez. And if he could disrupt Canelo Alvarez, Triple G has a great jab, you know what I mean? So if he can, you know what I mean, utilize that jab in his distance, and if he's able to catch and counter Canelo in spots to keep the fight honest, to keep and make the fight close, then Triple G has a shot. He has a shot. But Canelo, you know what I mean? They say he's been working on his speed. He looks faster. So what that tells me is Canelo Alvarez is going to try to utilize not only his work rate, but his punch output. He's going to bring combinations into the fold. He's not going to just throw jabs and shit, you know what I mean? He's going to try to work combinations off of his jab. He's going to work combinations off of going to the body. Because that's the beautiful thing about having hand speed and being able to throw combinations. You can't block everything. You can't slip everything. Because sometimes fighters have speed, but they don't throw combinations. And if you're a great combination puncher, but on top of you being able to throw combinations, you also have great speed. Those are the situations and sequences that you wind up catching a guy and you wind up hurting somebody because you can't block everything. So if Canelo can get him going to that fight and throw a 3, 4, 5, 6 punch combination, and Triple G is not fast enough, you know what I'm saying, to block all them shots. He may block the first 2, you know what I mean, muffle the third. But if Canelo can get those, if he can get those last 2 shots in, hey, that's gonna be a lot. But then it's gonna come into question, how long can Canelo do that? How long can he sustain? Will he get tired? You know what I mean? Everybody don't have that conditioning factor like an Errol Spence, where you can maintain their work rate throughout a fight. He got fatigued when he fought Bivol. See, going up and down like Canelo, or going up and down in weight like Canelo does, eventually that's going to have an effect on your body. Keep on fluctuating your weight like that. And on top of that, hold on, gotta wait, what's up with the new format, bro? I like this. Oh yeah, bro. I told you, man, I try to step the game up, dog. See, like I said, it's a lag on getting the comments, Dale. It's a lag on the comments and shit, bro. But I'm trying to step my fucking game up, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, I'm not playing. I'm building a fucking community, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta step my game up, man. I'm doing this shit for y'all, man. We family. I'm trying to bring y'all the best experience. Hugo Ramirez said Conor Ben fighting Eubank on October 8th in the UK. He ain't fighting boots. Hey, when you hear that, bro? Because I just got finished seeing the fucking Conor Ben interview, and he ain't mentioned that shit. He says also Hugo Ramirez. What I heard is that they are trying to make Stanionis a co-main event on the Spence versus Crawford undercard. So that means Virgil might be fighting him in the co-main event. I mean, so Because Boots is also, Boots is also, I'm saying, has a fight coming up. So, and Virgil just fought. So, you might be talking about Jaron Boots Ennis and Stanley Jonas, possibly on the Spence and Crawford undercard. Hugo Ramirez also says, Boots, I don't know. Hopefully, Thurman versus Ennis, 3-fight down the main event. You lost me with that when you said Boots. I don't know. Hopefully Thurman versus Ennis. Okay, then you said 3-fight down the main event. I don't know what you mean by the 3-fight down. You said Matchroom announced it. Okay, so you saying Matchroom, they announced Conor Benn and Chris Eubank. You know what I mean? Because if you're saying Matchroom, they announced the Conor Benn and Chris Eubank fight, because I literally just got finished watching Conor Benn when he was talking to the people yesterday. He was talking to the people yesterday and shit, and he was talking about the top 10, and he didn't mention mention Chris Eubank. Actually, this is what he said. Check it out.
He's a good fighter, man. Everyone top 5, top 10 are all great fighters, every single one. Just some bigger names than others, some bigger paydays than others. Some have higher rewards and less risks. Some have the same risks but a lot higher reward. So those are the fights you want to try and make. He's a good fighter, man. Everyone top 5, top 10 are all great fighters, every single one. Just some bigger names than others, some bigger paydays than others. Some have higher.
So that's what Conor Benn, when he was talking about, you know what I mean, the top guys as far as the 147. He didn't mention Chris Eubank, but he did mention I think he said something about Chris Eubank to the relation of, like, that was a fight that he felt as though it could have been made, but he didn't elaborate too much on it. And maybe that's why he didn't elaborate too much on it, because maybe Eddiehearn was working on that shit in the background and he didn't want to speak out of turn. So if you saying that Matchroom just announced it, then that pretty much just proves that point. You know what I mean? Like, he knew probably something was being worked on the back, you know what I'm saying, behind closed doors, and he didn't want to speak on it yet because the fight wasn't yet finalized. So if the fight is now finalized and Conor Benn will be facing Chris Eubank Jr., and you said October 8th in the UK, naturally it's going to be in the UK. They both hometown boys, you know what I mean, in front of that hometown crowd. That's going to be a great fight, you know what I mean? Chris Eubank is tough. He's skillful. When he trained with Roy Jones, you know what I'm saying? Like, Roy Jones taught him, you know what I mean? Taught him some shit. He picked up some shit. And because remember, for a long time, Chris Eubank was training himself. But then he switched over, you know what I mean, and started working with people. Then he started working with Roy Jones. And Roy Jones was teaching Chris Eubank some shit. And Chris Eubank, he got that dog in him, and he got that edge, you know what I mean? But it seems like he's got to mature, you know what I mean? Because he used to always be like on some mad shit, you know what I mean? But now Chris Eubank seems to be, you know what I mean, he's like still aggressive, but he's like aggressively reserved, you know what I mean? He's more mature. So he's not like, you know what I mean, he's not acting like he was, you know what I mean? But that's going to be a great fight, man. Chris Eubank against Conor Benn. That's going to be a great fight, man. You know what I mean? Like, I think that fight is going to fuck around and be that's going to fuck around and be a war. You know what I mean? That's going to be a war, because both of these guys are aggressive. Both of them, they throw a lot of punches, and they can throw a lot of punches. So I'm telling you, man, like, somebody is going to get hurt in that fight, and somebody is possibly going to get stopped or knocked out when Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr., when these two guys collide, you're talking about a train wreck. It's going to be fireworks. It's going to be super explosive. These guys are going to put on a hell of a show. The UK is going to be on fire. You know what I mean? So Hugo Ramirez, man, appreciate you, my brother, man, for letting us know and putting us on, you know what I'm saying, to that news right there, because that is huge. That is great news, you know what I'm saying, for the sport of boxing. That is great news for the UK. That is going to be a huge, huge fight, you know what I mean? So now you have, even though the fight is not going to be in the UK, you still have anthonyjoshua facing Oleksandrusyk. Now you have Conor Benn and Chris Eubank. Now they're gearing up, and now they're set to go at it October 8th. So, man, the UK, they have some super explosive fights about to go down. And like I said, you got Tyson Fury poking and picking and stabbing at Derek Chisora, trying to get Derek Chisora to come out and fight Tyson Fury again. So I'm trying to tell you, man, like the UK got some nice fights coming up. Okay, so you can take Conor Benn versus Jaronennis. You could take that out of it. You know what I mean? So now there's not, well, it could be a Conor Benn versus Jaronennis, you know what I mean? But that's possibly in the future. But right now, if it's going to be Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank, I mean, that is the fight. And that's a great fight. So also to bring back the point that you made about the undercard, I don't know. You know what I mean? If he fights, so if he does wind up fighting Stanionis, I think that'd be a good fight on the Spence versus Crawford undercard. I think that'd be a great fight. It really, yeah. And from what it looks like, if Conor Benn is now fighting Chris Eubank, now it's and Keith Thurman is, you know what I mean, I guess doing whatever Keith Thurman does. You know what I'm saying? Keith Thurman, he's not facing he's not gonna face these young guys, you know what I'm saying? He's not gonna do it. So I don't know, maybe Stanionis versus Jaronennis. That may be the fight. And if that is the fight, I think that's a good fight. That's most certainly going to be a step up fight for Imentez, you know what I mean, Stanionis. It's most definitely will be a step up fight. That's going to be a tough fight, but it's going to be a good fight. I think that'd be a great co-main to segue into Spence versus Crawford. So if that wound up being a co-main, that's going to be a great fight, man. That's going to be a great fight. It really is. Hey, man, I hope that y'all you know what I'm saying, I hope y'all also, man, smashing that like button up, man. You know what I mean? Like I said, man, we've been working. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Dell, you know what I mean? Shout out to Doughboy. A lot of people, man, been riding with me, you know what I mean, since I started, you know what I'm saying? So since I started streaming, because before I was just doing that shit, you know what I mean, like here and there, man, just trying to get, you know what I mean, really wasn't even trying to get my feet wet. But now I am really taking this, you know what I mean, taking the streaming aspect, you know what I'm saying, more seriously. You know what I mean? Like you said, shit looking different. Exactly, man. I'm serious, man. Like I'm trying to work on my craft, get better, and build something, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to build something, you know what I mean? So a part of that is you guys smashing that like button, you know what I mean? So more people can tune in, can chime in, and YouTube can circulate this content, you know what I mean? So more people can get put on, which you guys have been great at doing, man. Because like I said, man, subscribers, the numbers have been, you know what I'm saying, have been really good, you know what I mean, especially last month and coming into this month, you know what I mean? So, man, I appreciate y'all, man. I really do. But just if you subscribe, make sure you got them notifications turned on. And if you do got them notifications turned on, just tune in, man. You know what I mean? Just tune in, keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, keep talking to a brother so a brother can keep talking to you. But I'm learning, I'm growing, you know what I mean? Hopefully we can all do that. Like I said, man, it's not about me, man. It's about y'all. You know what I mean? Because I don't know everything. Because I sure enough, like I said, I just seen something yesterday. And like I said, Hugo, he brought some information to, you know what I'm saying, to the chat, to the nation. And he let us know that, you know what I mean, Matchroom, they had just announced it, you know what I mean? So now we know that Conor Benn and ENNIS, that's off the table. Conor Benn will be facing Chris Eubank Jr. October 8th in the UK, and possibly Stanionis. Now the Stanionis and ENNIS fight now look like that may be the fight to make and the fight that's going to happen. And hopefully it happens on the Spence versus Crawford undercard. You know what I mean? Because Keith Thurman, I was hoping that Keith Thurman possibly can get into the mix, but he priced himself out of the Jaron Boots Ennis, you know what I'm saying, running by telling Steven Espinosa that he wants $10 million. I mean, come on, man, you fucking smoking. Because you are not going to get $10 million to fight fucking Crawford or Spence. Now they going to give you $10 million. So why would you ask for $10 million to fight Jaron Boots Ennis? That shit is fucking bananas, man. But I mean, I'm trying to tell you, man, I love the sport of boxing, man. Shit is definitely starting to look different. Shit is definitely starting to look good, man. You know what I mean? So, man, that's wow, man. So the kind of Ben and Chris Eubank, that's gonna be good, man. You know what I mean? That's gonna be good. And I don't know, cause see, I want to check to see if you know what I mean, to see if there's any updates, but I didn't get any notifications in regards to Jaron Boots Ennis or whatever like that. Like the last thing Boots was talking about, you know what I mean, was the fight date was coming soon. So, I mean, if you're saying a fight date is coming soon, I mean that means they got something. They working on something, man. You know what I mean? They working on something. And like I said, man, I think that's one of the things they're also putting together with the whole Spence versus Crawford situation. I think they are still, working on, and they're also building the undercard. See the main course is Spence versus Crawford, but then also who you want to have for the co-main, and then who you're going to have, you know what I'm saying, on the general undercard. You have to find and build those fights and make those fights as well. You know what I mean? So it's a lot going into this fight. And Spence versus Crawford, as I said, that's the main course. But if Stanionis versus Ennis, if that can be the co-main, that'll be phenomenal. And then we just have to look at how they build up the undercard after that. And if they do some shit where, you know what I'm saying, I don't know. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna mention Teofimo because I don't think they have time to put. I think that fight is before that. But I just wonder how they'll build that card up and what other fights that they will have on that undercard. Because that's a huge fight. This is Spence versus Crawford. That's a huge fight. So, and that's a legendary history-making fight. So you're talking about the undercard and the co-main. All of that shit works synergistically. You know what I mean? Everything has to culminate and come together. Because they're going to be talking about that fight and they're going to be talking about that card. You know what I mean? For weeks to come, for months to come, for years to come. So I'm trying to tell you, man, like that's some good shit, man. That's some good shit. That's really some good shit. But so what else? So what else do you guys, you know what I'm saying, have going on, man? What other fights do you see happening right now? Because it's a lot. It's a few fights that's looking good in the sport of boxing right now, man. Like I said, 140, you got some new things going on. 135, I don't know. 135, I think is kind of because Devin Haney. I mean, they ain't talking about their money. This is Cambosis, the company. I don't really think it's too much to talk about at 135. But I am curious to see what Tank is going to do next, because if Ryan Garcia, if that fight ain't gonna fucking happen, then I think Devin Haney and Tank Davis, I think they should make that fight. But we shall see. But you know what, man? I think I shall wrap this up. We just hit. We hit over 2 hours. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all for tuning in. You know what I mean? For the veterans of the channel. You know what I mean? Dell, Doughboy, so on and so forth, man. The new people that came through to holler at us. You know what I'm saying? Marlon, and so on and so forth, man. I appreciate y'all. Dell, you know what I mean? Hugo. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all taking the time, to comment. And hopefully some of you guys have signed up and joined the family. Because like I said, man, we growing, man. We rising like high blood pressure, man. Slowly but surely. And I'm enjoying, I'm enjoying this ride, But most importantly, I'm patient, man, because like I said, I'm in this for the long haul. And I just want to grow the Talk Nation community, man, And because I want to get a strong community, because like I said, man, I'm nothing without y'all. So, man, I appreciate y'all. And I'm going to wrap it up. And who knows, man, like I don't know if I'll do another live tonight, but I may be back on here tomorrow. So if you guys have subscribed, make sure you have your notifications on. So when I go live tomorrow, you guys can tune in. So I appreciate you guys, and I'm gonna say good night, and God bless, and I'm gonna catch you guys tomorrow, and we're gonna end it with the outro.
The oldest fighter to win a world welterweight title. Amazing accomplishment that I never thought I would accomplish. But know that God is good all the time. That's why I gave all glory to God.
What's up, yo? You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to go home. Y'all want to keep rapping and shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to keep riding, y'all want to keep rapping, man. You know what I mean? Like, shit, fuck it, man. I guess we'll ride until the last person, you know what I'm saying, leave. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, I'm here for y'all, man. If y'all want to, you know what I'm saying, if y'all want to keep talking about the great sport of boxing, shit, fuck it. Let's talk about, you know what I'm saying, the great sport of boxing, man. You know what I mean? But y'all gonna have to get in the comments though, man. Y'all gonna have to get in the comments. I need y'all to get a little more active in the comments. You have to help me. You have to help me narrate and extend this conversation. You dig what I'm saying? But how do you guys feel, man, about talking about Terence Crawford, you know what I mean, and Errol Spence? How do y'all feel? I mean, how do y'all feel about that? Because all fans and everybody have their opinion on why the fight ain't happening yet. So y'all put in the comments, why do y'all feel as though the fight is taking so long? What do you think the holdup is? I'm just curious. Since we still here, you know what I mean, let me just see what other people are thinking about why the fight hasn't happened, or why we haven't received the news that we should have heard or received just yet. You know what I mean? So let me think. Put your thoughts, put your feelings rather in the comments. So the people that's left in the chat, talk to me. You know what I mean? Talk to me.
playing out?
I feel like Spence is the bigger welterweight. He's the bigger, stronger guy. It's going to be interesting to see how Spence fights another southpaw like him. I just feel like this fight's going to come down to whoever wakes up or whoever feels better on that day. And whoever believes in himself more that day, that's who's going to win, because both guys are mentally strong, both guys are skilled.
Yeah, and I think we'll probably find out which one of those guys have got a hell of a chin, because they both can throw some serious leather, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Spence is strong. He's a strong puncher, but Crawford throws the shorter punches. If Crawford gets ahead, starts controlling the fight with a jab and backing Crawford up, then I can see Spence winning. But if Spence goes in there, if Crawford goes in there and finds a rhythm, then it might be a W for Crawford.
Playing out.
I feel like Spence is the bigger welterweight. He's the bigger, stronger guy. It's going to be interesting to see how Spence fights another southpaw like him. I just feel like this fight's going to come down to whoever wakes up or whoever feels better on that day. And whoever believes in himself more that day, that's who's going to win, because both guys are mentally strong, both guys are skilled.
Yeah, and I think we'll probably find out which one of those guys have got a hell of a chin, because they both can throw some serious leather, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Spence is strong. He's a strong puncher, but Crawford throws the shorter punches. If Crawford gets ahead, starts controlling the fight with a jab and backing Crawford up, then I can see Spence winning. But if Spence goes in there, if Crawford goes in there and finds a rhythm, then it might be a W for Crawford.
Thurman's like, he may as well retire. He's saying he ain't fighting no crop coming through, but yeah, wants the big names. Obviously, listen, I'll probably say one of the biggest names in the welterweight division. Definitely for an earner anyway, so the fact that you don't want to take that fight surprises me a little bit, but obviously I risk reward with me, he don't see it right. Thurman's like,